Hey there, Jester here. Today I'm doing some very basic art using my sketchbook. Now, different people use their sketchbooks in different ways. I think the general, what people think of when they think of a sketchbook is someone taking it out into nature and drawing, very, very complex, very detailed, realistic drawings of sparrows on the wing and plants and stuff. But really, a sketchbook is just paper. I've seen people do everything from doing like full paintings in their sketchbooks to what I do, which is scribbly doodles. For me, a sketchbook is just where I put ideas, where I just kind of work things out. And I don't really put detailed drawings in here. This is just ideas, layouts, poses, design work. And, most of it looks just very scribbly. I can draw a little person in like 30 seconds. And I find this quite fun. I don't usually let people see inside my sketchbooks, but just this once. So lately what I've been working on is a lot of, outfit designs, and this is a map of somewhere. All very, it's just circles with lines drawn between it, but it shows where things are supposed to be, and some little notes, which you probably can't read. And then, again, little character designs. And I've got this little octopus guy. I'm not really sure what I was thinking when I drew him. He's got his 8 legs, but they're all kind of like bound up so that he's got a humanoid shape. I don't remember why I did that, but it's kind of cool. And then just some other little layout drawings. Again, mapping, notes. Just kind of putting things down so I know where they are. So lately I've been working on doing some sprite work for, video games. And that's one of the things I don't really show on the show, because this is a show about, crafts and doing things with your hands, even though I do a lot of digital work. But they don't show you everything I do. You only see half an hour a week, and that's only if I'm the host. So what I'm doing today is just working on poses, because I still want my characters to have a bit of character to them. So I've got my determined little fighter hero. He's probably someone who, a farm boy, and his village was attacked by bandits or whatever. So he's got a very determined stance, but not really, polished. Here I've got my sorcerer, who's very confident. Or a witch who's more playful. And that's, well, a lot of what art is just, process. It's not the final product, it's the making of it. So if you're, wanting to start a new kind of craft, or you want to get into something new, start small and see if you like doing it first. Like, you might love the idea of knitting your own sweaters, but if you find out that you really hate knitting, then maybe that's not the craft for you. Maybe you want to, try something else. There are hundreds of art forms to try out, and you'll find one you like. Another thing I do with my sketchbook is I always use pen. Just cheapo pens. I have them in various different colors depending on what I'm doing. But it keeps me from taking the art too seriously. If I'm using a pen, it means I can't go back and erase things, but it means I can be, loose and scribbly and, not worry too much about it because nobody else is going to see this. This is for my own reference. And I think that's another bit of a problem with, today's social media landscape. People think they need to show everything. And for, especially beginning artists, they can fall into the trap of, everything they make has to be perfect because they have to show everything. But a lot of art is just happening behind the scenes, doing practice drawings and, doing studies of things just to, narrow down what you want the final image to be. Some of the younger ones don't seem to understand that, and they, kind of go into a kind of paralysis, just thinking like, oh, but I can't just doodle because it'll look bad and people will think I'm a bad artist. It's like, you don't have to show everything. This is not my only sketchbook. I have a rack of sketchbooks that nobody but me has ever looked into. You don't have to share your whole life. That was a bunch of ramblings on many different things, and I'm going to go back to drawing really terrible skeletons because I'd like to have a few more skeletons with weapons, and if I draw a bunch of them, then I can pick and choose which one I think is the coolest.